His posse are the junkyard dogs, the SEC from Tennessee to calling them hogs. From Gainesville up to Lexington to the Titan Tiger Land, nobody does it like Thom Abraham.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall.
Testosterone high today.
Yeah, Tom's the man, he's got the plan, he's really got it made. What a wife he's got, she's smoking hot, check out the junkyard babe. When everything is said and done, no one can beat his show. He's a high-tech redneck, Tony Soprano. If you love sports without the fluff, he's got the master plan. Cause nobody does it like Thom Abraham, yeah.
I guess I'm on here, am I on? Can somebody respond?
Oh, yes, we are on. It is a Throwback Thursday in the doghouse because the Beat the Big Dog season is over. So now on Thursdays, we go back to bringing you some historical sports moments in the show. And, maybe, probably should communicate with Grizz on this, but maybe we could even mix in throwback music. Now you say, wait a minute, Doug, your whole show is throwback music. That's all you do is throwback music. Well, maybe on Thursdays we could rock throwback TV theme songs. You know what I mean? We could go like TV theme songs on Throwback Thursday and have some fun with that. We could, because we're rocking, look, it's always Football Friday. We're rocking football music on Fridays 24/7. If you haven't listened to this show for the last 18 years, first of all, I don't know what the hell you're doing if you haven't listened to this show for the last 18 years. But if you haven't listened to this show for the last 18 years, yeah, you don't know that. But it's always Football Friday in the doghouse. And now it's spring football back and spring pro league back. And then we've got the draft. And then we've got the camps open up. And then media days. I mean, it never ends. So it's always. Let me see what you got there. You're going to play it. Let me hit it a little bit. Bring it a little, maybe a little more. I don't know what. See, here's the difference. When you got a 32-year-old or 33-year-old producer and a 60-year-old host, throwback means two different things. You know what I mean? Throwback is two different things. Because when I'm thinking throwback, I'm thinking like, Mannix, Starsky and Hutch from the 70s, Beretta. You know what I mean? The original Hawaii 5-0. And Grizz, when he's thinking throwback, he might be thinking, I don't know, Seinfeld. I don't know what a 33-year-old thinks is throwback. So I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see whatever he comes up with that. But anyway, how about kicking off Throwback Thursday, the first Throwback Thursday of the year, on the birthday of two GOATs? Happy birthday to the greatest football player of all time. And I'll fight you on this. Jim Brown is 86 years old today. He's the greatest football player to ever walk the face of the earth. I don't want to hear about anybody else, including Tom Brady. There you go. What's that, James Bond movie throwback stuff? You know what that is? I think that's James Bond. There we go. That's good. And today is Mike Jordan's 59th birthday. What are the chances that February 17th is the birthday of Jim Brown, arguably the greatest football player to ever walk the face of the earth, and Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest basketball player to ever walk the face of the earth, on the same day? I mean, you got Jim Brown, you got Michael Jordan, you got Wayne Gretzky in the hockey, and you got, Babe Ruth? I mean, those are the four most iconic names. The original, yes, I know numbers have come and gone and people have passed them and so on and so forth. But, I mean, those guys were doing stuff. When Babe Ruth set the record at 714 home runs, the record previously was like 163. That would be like somebody hitting 2,000 home runs now. When Babe Ruth set the single-season record, previous record was 27. And he set it at 60. Doubled it. It'd be like somebody hitting 150 home runs. Okay? When Jim Brown rushed for over 1,000 yards in 7 of his 9 seasons, half of which were 12-game seasons. When Jim Brown did that, there had only been 2,000-yard seasons in the history of the NFL. And he came along and did it 7 times. It would be when Jim Brown set the record, he retired after 9 seasons with 12,132 yards, I think it was. When he retired with that number, the record he broke was like 7,000 yards. That would be like somebody rushing for 35,000 yards now. His single-season record of over 1,800 yards, the previous record when he came into the league was like 1,072. Can you imagine somebody having a 4,000-yard season? On a percentage basis, that's what he did. He had a 4,000-yard season in today's numbers. Don't talk to me about anybody else. Gretzky, double the points that anybody else had scored. Double. And Mike, I don't know. I mean, you had Bill Russell won 11 championships in 13 years. But, Mike. Mike is Mike. All right, phone lines are open. We got a wide open first hour of the show. Wide open first hour of the show today. Once again, it's just the way it worked out. I usually like to put one guest in each hour. Happens to be both guests are in hour number 2 today. So we're wide open. Feel free to jump in. 256-576-4977. I'll tell you what. We'll take requests. You can use the text window, 7329TA show. If you got requests for songs, TV show songs that you want to hear in the Throwback Thursday rotator that Grizz will build, today he'll just play random ones. He'll build a rotator like he did for Football Friday. Now, I love the Seinfeld. Ding, 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 ding. I love Seinfeld. Grizz, write these down. These are ones I love. Tom wants to hear at some point in time. Seinfeld, Cheers, which you notice Applebee's is now playing the Cheers song. They went from playing that, Shake It Like Applebee's or whatever the hell it was. They went from that to now they're playing the Cheers song. I want to hear Cheers. I want to hear Beretta. You don't never even heard of the show. 1970s Beretta. I want to hear Hawaii Five-0, and you can use the modern one. But Hawaii Five-0 is one of the greatest theme songs ever written, ever. I want to hear the Rockford Files. I want to hear Starsky and Hutch. I'm just spitballing here. They don't even do that. Oh, and Law and Order. My God. Law and Order. Oh, are you kidding me? The Law and Order franchise. I mean, there you go. There's a playlist right there. A lot of shows don't even do theme songs anymore. Like the Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, Chicago PD. They don't have no theme song. They just boom. A lot of the shows today, they don't have theme songs. And I haven't watched a sitcom since Seinfeld. Except for I watch reruns of Last Man Standing, which is absolutely outstanding. Tim Allen with his second huge hit like that. I watch Last Man Standing. I don't watch any other sitcoms. I have never seen an episode of The Simpsons in my life. I have never seen an episode of American Dad. Is that what it's called, American Dad? In my life.
Huh?
No, I haven't. We have cuts from those shows that are in the show. In this show, we have cuts that are in the show that I know that they are from those shows. That I don't even know.
Oh, baby.
Homer, never seen the show.
Huh?
Never saw it. Ever.
Struggling.
Ever. I don't know. Is this from what?
You dirt-eating piece of slime! You scum-sucking pig! You son of a motherless goat!
I don't know what that's from. My old producers, they used to send me this stuff, and I'd fish through them. They'd send me like 6 or 7 cuts. I'd fish through them, put one on my board. If I liked it, I'd put it on the board. I don't know. What do I know?
And this one was over about 5 minutes in.
Yeah. Show. Text window is 7329 TA show. Gilligan's Island. Oh, Sanford and Son. Oh, my gosh. This is coming from the text window. Kramer says Gilligan's Island, Sanford and Son. Oh, Sanford and Son's one of my favorite songs of all time. I can't tell you how much I love. I have Sanford and Son on a board here somewhere. That's one of my favorite throwbacks of all time. And the Jeffersons, he says. I don't quite remember what the theme was from the Jeffersons. That's not the Jeffersons. I'm going to say that's not the Jeffersons. I'm going to say, what was there any black people on the Andy Griffith Show? Did Mayberry have any black folks? What's up with that? I mean, come on, Mayberry. You know, what was up with that? There you go. Jeffersons? Yeah. Came right out of the... it came out of Archie Bunker. It was a spinoff of Archie Bunker. It's a good one, man. That's a good one. I like this. We're going to go throwback. We just Dukes of Hazzard. Oh, yeah. Greatest Dukes of Hazzard. Write that one down. No, we're not playing Golden Girls. Stop, Kramer. You just lost your man cred with Golden Girls. Don't put Golden Girls on there. Yeah, Andy Griffith is. Son of a motherless goat comes from the Three Amigos. That's what the chubby ninja tells me. What's the Three Amigos? Is that a movie? I don't know.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again.
Wait a minute.
Your heart is true. You're a
No, that one didn't make it. Is that Golden Girls? Yeah, no. No, I don't ever want to hear that again in my life. I don't want to hear that ever again in my life. Ever again in my life. Don't want to hear that. All right. My personal show is so off the rails already. My personal Twitter feed is at Thom Abraham Show. Station's feed is at 97.7 ESPN. We're on the Twitch and the Facebook at 97.7 ESPN. Nowhere in there does it say anything there. There's the rundown for today's show. Okay? There, those of you who are watching on the Twitch and on the Facebook, there's today's rundown. Nowhere in there does it say anything about TV theme songs. Show just left the rails.
How do you sustain that same energy from the first half?
That's just what we do around here.
Don't know what happened. Don't know what happened. Just totally lost it. Show just totally.
I mean, come on. Let's talk about the game.
No. No. We're not going to do
Instead of just kicking people's ass like you're supposed to.
No, we're not kicking anybody's ass today, Coach. Although I do have some.
To be nice about it, too.
No, I do have some Saban commentary in here. Not audio, but I do have something I want to get to that Nick Saban said. But we'll get to that in the show. This isn't the show. This is the show before the show. You can like and subscribe at our YouTube channel at 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And you can go to 977ESPN.com and get links to all of that stuff. And while you're at it, get the app as well. There you'll find a link to Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4, all our alternate streaming channels for more great programming. Today's show has a bit of a NASCAR feel in it. Where's my NASCAR stuff? Wait a minute. I got NASCAR stuff in here somewhere. I got all my Ricky Bobby stuff in there somewhere. I should have loaded that up. I didn't load it up. I fell asleep after I woke up. My alarm goes off at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then I always get up by 6:10. You know, I'm up and about and doing my thing. Grizz is already on his way to the studio. But I sleep in to usually 6:10, 6:15 at the latest. I fell back asleep this morning and woke up at 7 o'clock, and I had the worst, most horrific dream from 6:05 to 7 o'clock. I had a dream I was lost in the downtown streets of Nashville. I was looking for my boat. I wanted to walk down to the ramp and get my boat and bring it back to the house. I had left it at the ramp in Winchester on Tim's Four-Legged Bass Club. And I walked out my door. I made a wrong turn, and I was in downtown Nashville. And I didn't recognize anything. I couldn't recognize anything. And I was just walking around, and it got worse and worse and worse, and I got lost. And then I got mugged. This was all in a dream. So I've been behind the 8 ball all morning. I didn't have breakfast till almost 7:30. I didn't get into the studio till 8 o'clock. I'm a mess today. I am a mess today. Today's show has a NASCAR feel to it, with the twin 150s running tonight at Daytona on FS1, and the field will be set for Sunday's Daytona 500. Last night, Hendrick took the pole with Kyle Larson and Alex Bowman taking the front row. In fact, Hendrick car, William Byron's 24, was the third fastest, and Chase Elliott, the fourth Hendrick car, was fifth fastest. The quickest Ford was Eric Almirola in the Stewart-Haas Mustang number 10. Now, the top speed for qualifying last night was 181 miles an hour, fully 10 miles an hour slower than Alex Bowman's qualifying speed last season, 15 miles an hour slower than Chase Elliott just in 2016. I'll give you some numbers as part of our Throwback Thursday, some qualifying speeds from the past. We're down to 181. Is that right? Is that good? Will we notice that on the track? Will we notice 181? 181 sounds slow for Daytona, for Super Speedway. Remember when they used to run, before restrictor plate, they ran over 200. I think the fastest lap, Bobby Allison told us one time on the show, I think Bobby Allison ran 212 at Talladega. And that was when Bill Elliott said the famous thing, it's not how fast you're going to get around the track at Talladega before restrictor plates. It was Bill Elliott, Chase Elliott's daddy, Awesome Bill from Dawsonville. He said it's not how fast you're going to get around the track, it's if you're going to get around the track. They were running 212. That's too fast. But 181 sounds like, mile and a half. That sounds like Texas. It doesn't sound like Daytona. That's just me. Hermie Sadler ran 266 Xfinity races and 66 Cup races in his career, and he's commentator for NASCAR, has a new podcast out, Leaning Right and Turning Left. That sounds like me. That would describe me, leaning right, turning left. He does it with Virginia State Senator Bill Staley. He's joining us at the top of the 11. And then Steve Merrill is back from ProSportsInfo.com as well. Alabama went on an 18-2 run last night after Nate Oates got thrown out for arguing too strenuously. The last one was a foul. Benianco there, he got clipped from behind pretty good. That was a foul. But Nate got himself run. I'm not sure he didn't get himself run on purpose. The team was kind of a little bit slow. But I think that he might have got himself run on purpose. They got a big three-pointer from J.D. Davidson and took the lead for good at 5:01 left in the game. They sold 15,000 tickets for the game. Only 9,192 people showed up. What's up with that? What is up with that? Was any of our people at the game last night? I don't know if I don't think Drew made it to the game because he was doing something with the Huntsville High. Congratulations to them too. Auburn hammered Vandy last night as well, to be expected. All right, we got a lot to get to. Over there in the little glass room, playing the Platters That Matter and the Stacks of Wax, answering the phones, keeping us on the air, playing the throwback tunes, Coach Grizz.
Who in the blue hell are you? What is your name? It doesn't matter what your name is.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I think this is one of the traits of a really good producer. Keep the talent happy.
I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Tom. Hey, Tom.
Testosterone high today. Testosterone, sexerone, whatever the it is.
It really doesn't matter what you think. It really doesn't matter what you say.
Any of you play sports?
Good start to the show, Grizz. Two other suggestions. Beverly Hillbillies. No, I don't want to hear Beverly Hillbillies. I don't want to hear Beverly. I don't like Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah.
I don't
You
want
like
to hear.
Hillbillies?
I don't like
man.
Beverly Hillbillies.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, because that's my grandparents. That means a lot to me, because my grandparents, we were called the Clampets. So we were always like.
You guys were the Clampets?
We were the
Did you have
we were the weird family bunch, trust me.
Which one was the, what's her name? The girl in the shorts with the cutoffs.
Probably my sister. Or my cousin.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, good job by your cousin. Your sister.
Alabama,
Welcome back,
right?
Cotter. Write that one down.
Oh, yeah. I know that
Welcome
song.
back,
Yeah.
Cotter. We got to have that one. We used to play that when I first came back on the air.
Isn't that the Welcome Back song?
But we haven't played that in a long time, have we?
Yeah, no, we played that last time we had. Yeah, we played that last time we had throwback music. Yeah, I know.
Well,
that.
yeah,
I know that
we
show
don't play
too.
it like it's not. I'm saying it's not in our regular. What I'm saying, it's not a regular song for us. It's
no,
throwback.
it's not. It's not in your.
So Welcome Back, Cotter has to be on the list.
Right.
I'm good with Welcome Back, Cotter. But there's some old ones there that you don't even. Wait till you hear the Beretta. Wait till you hear the Beretta
I'm an old
theme
soul,
song.
man. I love old shows. Are you kidding me?
If you do the crime, you gotta do the time. I mean, what? I'm telling you what. I want to hear Beretta.
Last week in Varsity Partners, they were doing like trivia, and we were playing like game shows. I was like playing like match game music and classic concentration and.
could you could mix some of that in as well?
I used to love those old game shows.
Do you think that you could? Yeah, the old game show music sometimes is okay. Could you? You think you could build a Throwback Thursday rotate?
Oh, without a doubt.
Between now and next show.
Yeah.
By the way, the intern is on his way in.
Is he?
I think he's got an exam this morning. Yeah, he's got an exam. He's taking a test. He had 2 exams yesterday.
Good.
And then he's got an exam today.
He's good in school. Don't come here.
Yeah.
Do that first, and then come here.
He's doing it, and then he's coming, but he's got lights. He's bringing all this lighting that he has for the studio. He's our intern, young John Boy, we're kind of putting him in charge of audio-visual, and that's what he's getting his degree in at the UAH. Anyway, he is bringing a bunch of lighting and stuff in to set up in the studio there. We're buying new cameras. Yeah, we're doing some cool stuff. What we have to do, and I'm just gonna say it on the air. I know we gotta get my goal in life is to get the Drive to agree to be on the video feed.
I told you have to do it.
Picture.
You have to do it.
We might have to do
a
it
wild animal
discreetly.
where they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's like a deer camera. You got to have
Hidden
a deer
cameras.
camera. So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to do like hidden cameras and
just tell Wes it's like a new clock.
What's that red light over there? Why is there a little
red
red light
clock
over
that
there?
we have up there? Yeah, don't worry about it.
What is that little red? There's a little red light right there. What is that?
It's got a nice little white ring around it. It's like I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Oh, nothing. That's nothing.
New lighting in the room.
Don't worry about it. And then Molten. Molten though, you got to hold like a. You don't want to look directly at Molten. You got to be like when you're like a. It's like
don't be mean.
It's like an eclipse. You want to have like one of them boards. With like a hole in the middle.
He is
like
a hole
in the middle. When you hold it up,
he is a hole. Except for
you hold up the cardboard with a little hole in the middle there, and you kind of look through there.
Scott's the only one that's clean shaven all the time. Scott's the only one that's got his hair nice and good.
And I'm shaved. I shaved today just because I'm fat.
There's some days we walk in with just sweatshirts.
Oh yeah, we're nasty. It's a good thing these cameras aren't real good HD cameras because they would pick up this.
We as a whole don't smell together too well.
Yeah, that's all right. Steve's like looking at an eclipse. Just hold that sheet up in front of him.
Wild game last night, though. Man, you got to give Alabama credit to bounce
trying
back.
To talk sports.
I know, right?
What are you doing?
I loved every bit of that game. I should have gone last night.
I didn't. I had Alabama minus 6.5. I didn't. Damn them! They led by what? 3 or 4 at the half, and they exploded immediately in the second half to like a 7 or 8 point lead. And Mississippi State kept coming back on them, and that's what they did all year long. Mississippi State's been a comeback team.
I mean, Alabama shot 20% from 3. It was nice to see like some inside presence. You gotta hammer Bediako. You gotta hammer the big. You gotta go to the inside, and that's what I liked. I like seeing Shackelford and Quinterly drive to the hole. I want to see some more of that. I want to see some Trae Young type floaters. I want to see some bodies get thrown into.
You ever look at their shot chart? After a game?
Oh, yeah.
It's hilarious.
No, I said
it's hilarious. There's nothing. Everything is in the paint or outside the 3-point line. There's no shot from inside the 3-point line but out of the paint. They don't take any 12-foot jumpers.
I literally said something about that when you were gone. When you were gone, Smokey Mike and I were talking about the last game. I was like, if you watch this game, it was like Alabama, every single shot. It was like if I was playing 2K. That's all I do is I just throw up threes. That's all I do when I go outside and play basketball. That's all I do is jack three. When I get the ball, I shoot. You know what I mean? Because that's the only time I'm ever going to touch it. Because I'm probably going to throw it away to someone better than me.
They don't take it to the. They don't take anything other than it's either at every shot they take is within.
I think it was the Auburn game or something. Maybe it was. It was just like you saw Auburn's shot chart. It was like all inside shots, dunks. Just straight. Nothing further than 15 feet. And Alabama's was just all three. It was all threes.
All right, let's get a break. Wide open first hour of the show. Cooper Manning has spoken about his boy Arch, and the report that came out yesterday from Brent Beard that said that the list was down to Texas and Alabama. Well, I'll give you an update on that. Phone lines are open. What the hell is Kevin Garnett talking about? I want to get Grizz's reaction to that. He's my resident NBA guy, and much, much more. It's all coming up right here. Oh, by the way, uniform drops are going on as we speak in the USFL. Uniform drops are coming down, and Birmingham's was the first to come down, and I should retweet it on my Twitter. But they actually look really, really nice. They didn't overly cook it or anything. All right, we'll get a break. We'll come back with more right after this. Open lines, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
Josh Taylor, the number 7 pound-for-pound boxer in the world and undisputed junior welterweight champion, will take on Jack Catterall in Taylor's first fight since he became the undisputed champ last May. The two will meet February 26 in Scotland. Taylor a heavy favorite, minus 1575. The challenger Catterall, plus 790. Today, the Genesis Invitational underway, featuring each of the top 11 players in the world. John Rahm, the plus 1,000 favorite. Dustin Johnson and Patrick Cantlay, plus 1,400. College basketball tonight, South Alabama at Coastal Carolina. The Jaguars a 1-point favorite on the road, 136 the total. Elsewhere, Troy getting 4 points at Appalachian State, the over-under 130.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
At Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, people call the award-winning burgers totally insane, which is a compliment, because Bad Daddy's Burgers are just that, chef-inspired expressions of pure burger amazingness built with premium Angus beef. They're bold, and they're bad. Pair one with one of their signature cocktails or assortment of local craft brews. Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, 2317 Memorial Parkway. Check out our menu and even order online at BadDaddy'sBurgerBar.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental on the South Memorial Parkway. Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental is independently owned and operated by local folks right here in the Valley? They are celebrating 10 years into business this year and have grown to be North Alabama's largest supplier of rental skid steers and mini excavators. Now, if you have a question about what tool to use, just call them at 964-6081, and the pros at Valley Equipment will get you into the tool that you need for your specific project. Valley Equipment, more care in every rental.
Hi everybody, Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Showers and thunderstorms this afternoon across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Some of those thunderstorms could be strong or even severe. Looks like our biggest concern is going to be heavy rain and some very gusty winds. Wind gusts in excess of 45 or 55 miles per hour. But an isolated tornado certainly can't be ruled out, especially west of the I-65 corridor. All of this is associated with a cold front. Cold front moves through the Tennessee Valley Thursday night, early into Friday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Leading the way for sports talk in North Alabama.
Winning is the only thing that matters.
Thank you.
Yes, amen, I say yes.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone. The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. From today's headlines to the guests you want to hear from.
Who wants to party?
Listen in and join in. Weekday afternoons starting at 5. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Welcome back, Throwback Thursday. Man, they were so funky back then, weren't they?
Like, shows had better songs, like better plots than they do now.
I don't know about the plots, but
well, some plots were better. I'm not gonna lie, it made sense. If you go back and watch some of them, it makes sense.
That Throwback is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center. For all your injury needs, your only choice is the Orthopedic Center. Remember, you can get, when your doctor says that you need a referral to an orthopedic, you just tell them, I want to see the docs at the Orthopedic Center. And it's the end of that, okay? You'll go to the Orthopedic Center. They got specialists for everything. And I know a lot of times you might be thinking, well, I don't need surgery. Well, it's not just about surgery. It's about whatever it is that you need done. A lot of therapy. They do everything there. They do a tremendous job as well. They got satellite offices all over the region as well. Check out the TOC, the Orthopedic Center. All right, phone lines are open. 256-576-4977. That'll get you in 256-576-4977 if you want a piece of this thing here today. Grizz, the first four now uniforms have been dropped by the USFL. And the Houston Gamblers one was just dropped at the top of the hour. At the top of every hour, they're dropping a new uniform. Now, the first one that came out was the Birmingham Stallions. And the Stallions, I tell you what, I am glad that they're not overly tricking up these uniforms, that they're kind of staying with the traditional look. You're not old enough to remember. I was a big fan of USFL back in the day.
Right.
But this is just some tweaking and modernization of what the original Birmingham Stallions was. And this is, I have put a link, folks, at my Twitter. Maybe Grizz will retweet it. I put a link there at Thom Abraham Show to the uniform drop, the uniform reveal, and they're showing them. But the Stallions uniform is sweet, Grizz. I think it's the best of the first four that have come out.
Yeah, no, I saw it. I'm having issues right now. For some, I hope I'm still on the air.
No, you're there. I see you.
Yeah, for some reason I'm having Twitter issues every time I'm trying to open up your page. It just tells me to retry every time. But anyway, no, I saw those jerseys earlier. They look really nice, and I'm kind of excited. They actually look like an actual uniform.
Football team.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the Washington Commanders uniforms that don't look like real uniforms.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe those Washington Commanders uniforms might stick a little bit, kind of like the Rams.
I don't like the black one. We don't need a black uniform.
Yeah, that black uniform doesn't look very good.
That's not their colors.
Yeah.
But this Stallions uniform, so the people so I can give you a little bit of description. It has a stripe that starts real wide and then fades away, all right, on the top, and it is in what would you call it? Would you call that red, or would you call it burgundy? No, I wouldn't call it burgundy. It's more red.
It's more red. It's like a cardinal, like almost
kind of a cardinal. Yeah. No, it's not cardinal red. It's red. It's almost a crimson. I want to say, but it's a red. It's red, and red and gold are their colors. Yeah, and on the helmet, instead of that old static looking Birmingham Stallion logo that they had back in the day, it's kind of reminiscent of the Denver Broncos. It's kind of reminiscent of Madison Academy, if you will, okay? It's got a Bronco head, a horse head on it. It's not the same exact head as that, but it's similar to that. So it's got the horse head on it, and then it's got the sleeve stripes, which are old school. I like that as well. And the interesting thing is white jerseys, white breeches, no goofy gussets or anything like that.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is in the pictures, they're all with white pants with a red jersey and white pants with a white jersey. But in the video, it shows the guy wearing a red jersey with gold pants, which was the original look for the Birmingham Stallions. So that one looked really good. The next one that came out was the Pittsburgh Maulers. Hate it. Don't like it. Shoulder gussets, terrible colors, kind of a purple and orange. It's reminiscent of their original uniform. The Maulers' original uniform, ugly. Ugly. And they're ugly. Easy not to like Pittsburgh. Ugly uniform. Next one that came down the pike was the Tampa Bay Bandits. Tampa Bay's is not as good as the original. It's not bad because it's a great logo. I mean, the Bandit logo is a fantastic. The horse.
Yeah, I do like that.
The cowboy on the horse. But the uniform they look more like the Houston Gamblers' old uniform than they do the Tampa Bay Bandits' old uniform. Although they were always confused with those two teams back in the day as well because they have the same color palette. It's not bad. It's good. I mean, it's a football uniform. Looks like a football uniform. And then the Houston Gamblers came down. The Gamblers, they have a tremendous logo as well. These logos they came up with in the USFL back in the day are just spectacular logos. But the Gamblers uniform has the Gambler logo on a helmet. No stripes on the helmet this time. A little bit different. I don't like those. I don't like when they have a gusset down the side of the jersey that's a different color. And like if the jersey's black, let the jersey be black. And if the jersey's white, let it be light. You don't have to have a white jersey and then have a black gusset down the side. I don't like that part of it. But I think the Stallions so far have the best one. I think they're the best one. Next up will be the New Jersey Generals. Then the Michigan Panthers, which is coached by my friend Jeff Fisher. And I hate that because there's nothing you can do with that uniform. That color concept, or the blue and maroon of the Michigan Panthers, is just butt ugly. They have an ugly, ugly uniform. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. Then the New Orleans Breakers, and then the Philadelphia Stars. I'm interested in the Generals because I used to like the Generals when I was a kid. When I was in my early 20s, the Generals were my favorite team in the USFL back in the day.
The Maulers one I don't like.
Maulers is ugly. That's Pittsburgh. Yeah, that's ugly.
It's just I just don't like that one at all.
No, that's
it's like a Madden create your own team jersey. I mean, that just looks like something that just doesn't look like a natural jersey. Like the home jersey doesn't even look good.
No, don't like that one. I don't like that one at all. So, Grizz, Cooper Manning, daddy of Arch.
Ah, yeah.
He says that his boy, in fact, has not pared his list down to Texas and Alabama.
Oh, okay.
As Brent Beard had reported yesterday. In fact, not Brent Beard, now Brent Beard. There's twin
Brent
brother.
Beard. Okay.
There's Brent Beard.
Well, I know both of them. I've talked to both of them.
Yeah, Brent is the twin brother, the skinnier of the two Beard boys. Anyway, Brent Bearday reported that it was down to Texas and Alabama, which you remember what I said yesterday. I questioned. I thought, wow, okay, but just remember, they have 2 quarterbacks that have full eligibility that are in the hopper now in Ty Simpson in Alabama, which was the number 3 quarterback in this last class, and Quinn Ewers in Texas, who was the number 1 quarterback in this class if he had stayed in this class.
Yeah.
So they just took 2 of the top quarterbacks in the country. So, and not that Arch Manning is concerned with, any kind of competition. So anyway, his daddy says that the list, in fact, has grown. It's not only does it still have the existing teams on there of Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss. You got to have Ole Miss in there. You're Archie Manning.
Yeah.
I know they call him Arch for short, but you're Arch Manning. And Ole Miss makes sense in as much, A, he can go in there and probably will take that job over. I mean, I know they got Zach Calzada this year, and Calzada has some experience, some eligibility left. But Arch Manning walks in to Ole Miss, and he automatically, I think, is the starting quarterback there. But the negative there is I think the ceiling for Ole Miss is 10-2 in not winning the SEC West. I think that's the ceiling for Ole Miss. So if he wants to be a national champion, I don't think you can do it there from Ole Miss. I don't. That's not going to happen. Okay. And now, and of course, Texas, which you might say, well, how can you win a national championship from Texas? Well, I still believe that Texas, whether it's Steve Sarkisian or whatever, Texas still has the pedigree to get that done at some point. It will be easier for Texas to win a national championship before they go to the SEC because they would get a bite at the apple. Texas is a team that could come out of nowhere this year, next year, have some kind of an unreal season and run the table, beat Oklahoma, get into the tournament. You know what I mean? I mean, they did win a national championship in this century. Ole Miss hasn't won one since, 60? They won a national championship 15, 18 years ago, right? Did Texas with Vince Young. And he's now added LSU and Florida to the list. Now, Florida, he would have an excellent opportunity to go in there and play right away. He could jump in Florida and play right away, possibly. All right, next year. Even though I know they got a young quarterback there, but he could go in. But here's my issue for Florida. I'm not 100% sold on Billy Napier yet. Remember, last year I was saying this about the Jeremy Pruitt and the Brian Harsin, that I thought both were reaches. This year's reach of the cycle to me still is Billy Napier, okay, to the Florida. Okay, Grizz, are we having a problem with the Twitch? I noticed we're on the Be Right Back screen on Twitch. There, our video.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to put you on. Something's wrong with Zoom.
Something's going on there.
Something wasn't connecting with Zoom. You're good.
It could be the potential stormy weather. It's getting windy and stuff, and you got to be careful about that. And then the other is LSU. Now, I have been banging on Brian Kelly a lot. I don't think Brian Kelly's going to work in Baton Rouge. I don't think Brian Kelly's going to work in Baton Rouge. Brian Kelly is a Big Ten coach from Big Ten country. Brian Kelly ain't from around these parts. And I just don't think it's going to work. He's looked like an idiot up there dancing with his recruits and with his fake accent and all of that stuff. Ultimately, I don't think it will work. Now, he has already locked up a top 5 quarterback in Walker Howard for the 2023 class. He has a commitment from Walker Howard. But Walker Howard is a number 5 rated quarterback in the country. But Walker Howard is a Louisiana boy. Walker Howard has always wanted to go to LSU. So no matter what, Walker Howard wanted to go to LSU. I mean, they could have hired Bozo the Clown, which they almost did, basically, to be their head coach. And Walker Howard still probably wants to go to LSU. If Brian Kelly could pull Arch Manning into that class, first of all, does Walker Howard stay? Do you have both the number 1 and number 5 quarterback? But if that were to happen, you have to wonder. Now you'd say about Brian Kelly, you'd say, wait now, that's pretty serious. Dude just locked up Arch Manning and Walker Howard. I mean, that would be a thing. I don't know if they would both stay there, but that would be a thing. Of this list, everybody has some pretty good quarterbacks already in the mix. He wants to go someplace, and he wants to be a difference maker. The Ole Miss one is probably the best place, but he's not going to win a championship there. He's not going to win an SEC championship, and I don't think he's not going to win a national championship. Texas, I don't know. I don't know what Sark is going to do there. But they have the pedigree and they have the money to build a team around him. One thing we're not hearing about with Arch Manning is the NIL potential. First of all, he comes from a loaded family. So it's not like, they got money issues. And secondly, wherever Arch Manning goes, he'll get all the NIL money he wants. Whatever he wants for NIL money, he will get. All right, before we go to break, let's just mention the weather, Grizz, because it's going to be a violent day later on, especially this afternoon and into the evening.
No, I can't see out of my windows, but I've heard on the weather reports that
the trees are blowing around.
That's the only ways I know.
They're talking about 50 to 55 mile an hour straight line winds and gusts. I'm a little nervous.
It did look a little scary this morning. It was like calm before the storm.
Yeah, there's going to be storms.
Yeah, careful.
It'll be starting at mid-afternoon, early afternoon, mid-afternoon. It'll start raining, and it's going to rain for hours. 100% chance of rain for hours and storms. So this warm weather, it's going to hit 70 degrees before that, but then this warm weather, leads to a February storm. But there are going to be high winds. Be very, very careful. Your ride home tonight, for those of you that work out of the house, your ride home tonight is going to be a little bit dicey. I'm a little bit concerned for intern John because he is staying at Bailey's house tonight, and I believe that Bailey lives at the Ledges, and that's up on top of the mountain. I don't know if I want to be up on top of the mountain when there's 55 mile an hour wind. So anyway, be very careful out there tonight with that weather. Let me get a break. We'll come back. Final segment of hour 1 is next. If you want in, you can get in at 256-576-4977, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Two Maids and a Mop. That's all you need to know to clean house. Two Maids and a Mop is an award-winning company, bonded and insured. Hire them for yourself, or they have gift cards if you want to make someone else's day. Find out more online at twomaidshuntsville.com. A maid service worth talking about. Two Maids and a Mop take care of everything. They supply all the cleaning equipment needed. Call 256-883-6243. The only finger you'll need to lift is the one to call them.
For over 20 years, Audio Insight has been designing and installing systems that integrate today's technology into homes and businesses all over the Tennessee Valley. At Audio Insight, they don't provide one-size-fits-all system solutions. Instead, they design your system from the ground up based on your valuable input. By working closely with you, Audio Insights can ensure that your system will meet your performance, budget, and aesthetic needs. Visit the showroom at 1229 Putman Drive off Jordan Lane and experience some of their fine products firsthand. Visit audio-insight.com to learn more.
Get your Ford your way today. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got F-150s in stock right now. We have F-150s on the ground so you can climb behind the wheel and take a test drive today. Plus, at Woody Anderson Ford, our 2021 F-150s come with $1,000 in bonus cash, along with financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months with your good credit. This offer ends February 28th. To be clear, these F-150s are in stock today, ready for your garage tonight. Now let's talk about making a custom factory order. Not only is there no extra cost to custom order, but you'll get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on 2022 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, Expedition, and Mustang. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and you'll see how easy it is. And speaking of easy, our service department is now offering free pickup and delivery when it's time for your next Ford service. Ask about it at Woody Anderson Ford, the corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Look forward to seeing you.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhsriserealestate.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Showers and thunderstorms this afternoon across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Some of those thunderstorms could be strong or even severe. Looks like our biggest concern is going to be heavy rain and some very gusty winds. Wind gusts in excess of 45 or 55 miles per hour. But an isolated tornado certainly can't be ruled out, especially west of the I-65 corridor. All of this is associated with a cold front. Cold front moves through the Tennessee Valley Thursday night, early into Friday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you've got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot.
This Randy Newman, did he do this song?
Would you like to get away?
You know?
I'm not really sure.
The guy that did the Little People music song?
When you've got no lights,
I love that song. Was that a song or was it made for Cheers? I wonder if that was that a song before that Cheers used or if I think that song was written for Cheers. It seems like. Let me hear a little more.
Wanna go where everybody knows your name.
I love Cheers.
And they're always glad you came. You wanna be where
Cheers was a sitcom that I watched. I loved Coach.
Oh, are you kidding me? Yeah, they talk about Coach all the time around here. And no, I love Cheers. I loved Cheers.
It was so sad when he actually died. The guy that played Coach. That was so sad. And then there's Norm, and then he had all of the great lines. Every show opened up when Norm would come in, and they'd all yell Norm, and they'd say, "What are you up to, Norm?" And then he would have a quip. The funniest one ever was they said Norm, and so Sam says, "What are you up to, Norm?" And he says, "My ideal weight if I was 11 foot tall." That's fantastic. All right, Cheers is brought to you by Valley Equipment. Valley Equipment Rental has everything that you need to get the job done like a pro. Valley Equipment Rental, they got more skid steers, they've got more excavators, they got more lifts than anybody else. And now they're building a second location. You got a second location going up on the North Memorial Parkway out there just north of Winchester Road. And they're going to have, for the bigger contractors, they're going to have heavier equipment, bigger dozers, bigger excavators, lifts, all of that kind of stuff. And it'll open up some space at the South Memorial Parkway location, where they'll have plenty of stuff there for you as well. So it's a Valley Equipment Rental. They're owned locally right here in the Valley. They're not some big, franchise rental place. And Ross Robert and his team, great folks. And Ross is a great listener of the show, too. Whenever he can. He's very busy because, Valley Equipment Rental. But he tries to make time to listen to the show whenever he can as well. All right, coming up at the top of the hour, Hermie Sadler is going to join us. Hermie Sadler out of Virginia, former NASCAR Cup Series driver, former Xfinity driver, also did a lot of work on FS1 as a pit reporter back in the day as well for Xfinity and the Truck Series broadcasts. And we're going to get his take on the new car, what's going on. We got the twin 150s coming up tonight on FS1, and that'll set the field for the Daytona 500. I'm excited about it. I hope you're excited about it, the Daytona 500 this Sunday. And, we get to see the new car, and we get to see it in trim for this kind of for this kind of high-speed racing. The qualifying time was 181 miles an hour. That's a little slow. For Daytona, that feels like it's a little bit slow. And so we'll see whether or not that's something we can notice on the track. All right, Wolverine Dan, if you circle back, we'll try and get you in. I didn't have enough room to get you in there. Anyway, I was anticipating the music firing at any second anyway. When we come back, Hermie Sadler will join us next, right here. The Thom Abraham Show, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If I'm going to work from my home office, I need my home office to work for me.
It's possible at Staples. To be most productive, my home office needs to have everything my office has. Also possible, because your local Staples store has the tools your business needs to get work done from home. And right now, you can save up to 40% on select chairs to put the finishing touch on your home office. Explore what's new at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 2/26, in-store only while supplies last.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hammaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Developing story, the Lakers bracing to be without Anthony Davis yet again this season. ESPN's Dave McMenamin's reporting the star power forward expected to miss at least 2 weeks with a right ankle sprain sustained last night. Initial x-rays revealed no fracture. He's set for an MRI today. Davis previously missed 17 straight games from late December through early January with a sprained MCL in his left knee. The 27-31 Lakers currently in the play-in tournament are 9th in the West. An indication from Coach Tom Thibodeau that changes could be on the way for his Knicks. After the 111-106 loss to the Nets, the third time in 11 days, New York blew a lead of at least 20 points. Thibodeau said everything's on the table now, and it's got to be merit-based. Won't give minutes to give minutes. Players earn what they get. Much more on these stories coming up on the 6 Eastern Sports Center on ESPN TV.
And now, a man who knows what you ate for breakfast.
Time now for the biggest thinker of them all!
He knows it all. He is Drew DeArmond. Listen to Drew and Scott Tyson weekday mornings. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Showers and thunderstorms this afternoon across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Some of those thunderstorms could be strong or even severe. Looks like our biggest concern is going to be heavy rain and some very gusty winds. Wind gusts in excess of 45 or 55 miles per hour. But an isolated tornado certainly can't be ruled out, especially west of the I-65 corridor. All of this is associated with a cold front. Cold front moves through the Tennessee Valley Thursday night, early into Friday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You need to be more like a dog. Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about. Be a dog. God bless the show. You are the Messiah. We need more dogs. This is the best show on radio.
The Big Dog,
Thom Abraham is here with you. So settle in and get your bark on. That's my dog! Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? 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 How you doing?
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my Have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
Welcome back. Hour number 2 of the Thom Abraham Show. This segment brought to you by North Alabama Mortgage in Tennessee, Alabama, Florida. North Alabama Mortgage is the answer for you. Brian Hamaker and his crew do a tremendous job. They're going to treat you like family. They're going to make sure that they get you into the proper mortgage. That's right. They're going to get you into a conventional, a VA, an FHA, or USDA loan. They're going to help you out with that, whether it's a purchase or a refinance. And they are VA specialists. They work very hard for our veterans as well. And, of course, we have so many in the Tennessee Valley here with the Redstone Arsenal and all the other great folks that settle in this part of the country. So we really appreciate them. They helped us out with the Army broadcast this year as well, and are just good they're good folks, man. They're just good folks. All right, the name of the podcast is Leaning Right and Turning Left, which kind of sounds like me. Hermie Sadler and the Senator. We know Hermie Sadler as a former NASCAR driver and also commentator for Fox and FS1, and he joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Hermie, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, guys. I appreciate you having me on. I'm doing great. How are y'all?
Absolutely fantastic. I want to get into the qualifying tonight and of course the race coming up on Sunday. But first, tell us about this mix of NASCAR and politics and racing, leaning right, turning left. I like the name. I think most of the folks in these parts and most of the fans probably of NASCAR are also leaning right as well. But tell us about this deal that you got going on.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, to make a real long story as short as possible, my family business is convenience stores, truck stops, and restaurants. And for years and years, we've operated these little skill games or games of skill in our locations. And in a nutshell, the big casino groups from out of state, as they try to come into Virginia or as they plan their entry into Virginia, they have lobbied the General Assembly of Virginia to ban these games in our locations, so when the casinos come, they have no competition. And so I decided that that was unconstitutional, or at best, ethically not how the free market system operated. So I partnered up with one of my best friends, attorney and state senator of Virginia, Bill Stanley, as my attorney, and we sued the Commonwealth of Virginia last June. And so that litigation is ongoing. So far, we've been winning in the court of law. It's good news for small businesses all across the Commonwealth of Virginia. But one of the things we wanted was to have a vehicle to continue to get our message out to the people of the Commonwealth of Virginia, and a simple narrative, a similar narrative across the entire country. So we decided to start this podcast, Leaning Right and Turning Left, with Sadler and the Senator, and it's powered by Pace-O-Matic. And we've, I think today, this morning, our 4th episode dropped. And so far it's been going great. The reviews are great. The audience is great, and it really gives us a great opportunity to not only talk about our lawsuit and the issues surrounding that, but also politics, law, NASCAR racing, and everything in between.
All right, so there's a decent amount of racing in there and a decent amount of politics in there, I would imagine, and of course updates on the on your case.
Yeah, we kind of mix it up a little bit of everything. We've had my brother, of course, Elliot Sadler. He's been our guest on one time. We've had my good friend and former WWE wrestler and Hall of Famer Jeff Jarrett. He's been on an episode. Former governor of Virginia, George Allen, was on last week. So. And we're going to have, lots of racing and probably entertainment guests from other genres as well. But we're going to try to mix it up and provide a little something for everybody.
I had Jeff Jarrett when I was in Nashville. I had Jeff Jarrett in studio, and I had the honor of having him break one of his guitars over my head. So that was, so there you go. We got common thread now. I have Jeff Jarrett cracking a guitar over my head. We had a bunch of those guys that would come in. Anytime one of the big shows, of course, and they're going to have the bigger show. I don't follow it as much as I did. I used to follow it back in the 90s when they had the Monday Night Wars. I used to follow it and had a lot of fun with it back then. But I guess SummerSlam is going to be in Nashville, and so that's a pretty big deal outdoors. And but those guys would come through, and they Mick Foley would come in studio, and Jake the Snake, and all those guys, and they're really a pretty genuine group of guys.
Yeah, it's a great fraternity. Much like drivers in NASCAR, and I'll even go so far as to say, legislators in the General Assembly. They may disagree on policy or look at things from a different point of view, but it's a great fraternity, and I have a lot of friends. I grew up a wrestling fan, through my racing days and TV days. I have great friendships to this day, with people like Jeff Jarrett and a lot of other friends in that industry as well. I grew up being entertained by it, and today have a lot of friends in the industry, and I'm really thankful for all those friendships.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hermie Sadler with us here. Now, so does this suit of yours, and you're talking about the casinos and so on. Now, Alabama does not have legalized sports betting yet. They do have it in Tennessee. We're a border show. A lot of people just go over the border, and they can use their MGM app or whatever app they want to use. Is this tied to any of that? Are they trying to stop you from being able to do stuff at the truck stops? I mean, once it becomes legalized everywhere in Virginia, you would think that why would they try to stop anybody or any location from being able to provide that service?
Yeah, let me be clear. I'm not anti-casino. I may not be one that thinks that casinos are going to be the, panacea or the golden nugget's going to come in and fix some of these stressed rural areas like areas where I live in Southside Virginia. But that's not my decision to make. The reason that I brought this lawsuit is that last July, the Commonwealth of Virginia opened their doors to casinos, online betting, sports betting, the lottery online, historical horse racing, all these different types of gaming. They opened the doors to it, but then they targeted games of skill, and not just games of skill, but only games of skill that are in truck stops, convenience stores, and restaurants. And so that's what we thought was, we needed to stand up and fight. The issue here is skill games, but what we're fighting against is government overreach into small business. We don't think the government should be able to say, or pick winners and losers, you might say, by saying, okay, because there's casinos coming to Virginia, people like Sadler Travel Plaza, and by the way, hundreds of other small businesses all across the Commonwealth of Virginia are being hurt, and they're taking business away from all these people to give it to the casinos. We just think if casinos want to come in, they should have to compete under the free market system just like all the rest of us do in all types of businesses in Virginia and other states all across the country. So that's really what we're fighting for.
Yeah, that only makes sense is what I would think about that. All right, let's get to the racing. Of course, last night they had the qualifying. Tonight we get to a twin one. See, I almost did it. I'm old enough. Look, Hermie, I'm a little bit older than you are, and I've been a fan of NASCAR since the early 70s. My grandfather lived in Orlando and would go to Daytona religiously. He stopped going when his start-finish line seat that was 25 rows up became $40. I'm not paying $40 to go to the race, is what he said. I'm like, you're out of your mind. But so I've been a fan all my life of NASCAR. I still say twin 125s. It just sounds better. You know what I mean? I have to catch myself all the time. I want to say twin 125s. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not smart enough to say twin 150s, but that's what we got tonight.
I'm old school just like you. A lot of things have changed, not all for the better. But I will say I was pleasantly surprised at the performance of this new generation race car at the Clash at the L.A. Coliseum a couple of weekends ago, and that gives me high hopes for what we're going to see tonight in the dual qualifying races and certainly through the weekend leading up to the Daytona 500. But at the same time, as much as things have changed, brand new race car, new rules, new tires, new this, new that, and still Hendrick Motorsports qualifies 1, 2, 3 on speed. So that part has not changed, but I do think the new car and the new rules and the fact that it is new opens up the possibility for more great stories at Daytona, potential first-time winners and potential upsets like we saw last year with Michael McDowell.
1, 2, 3, 5 as well with Chase Elliott. Only the Eric Almirola Ford Stuart Haas breaking that little Chevy deal going up, that Hendrick deal going up at the top of the list. But speaking of Chase Elliott, just 5-6 years ago, 2016, Chase Elliott he got on the pole 196 miles an hour. Last night, Kyle Larson 181 miles an hour, fully 10 miles an hour less than Alex Bowman the year before. I'm excited about the new car too. 181 at Daytona though feels like like Lowe's or something. I mean, this is a little bit weird. Will we notice that? Were you surprised that this car was as slow as it was compared to even what we saw? Look, we don't have to go 210 like Bill Elliott did back in back in the 80s. We don't need to go 210, but 181 at Daytona, that we're going to notice that, aren't we?
I'm going to say something that a lot of people that are maybe casual race fans are not going to understand or not going to agree with, and it really sounds odd saying it from somebody who raced for a living for 25 years, when the point of it has always been, go as fast as you can. But higher speeds do not always mean better races. And I think, can you sit in the grandstands and see the difference between 181 and 191? Probably, but I think once the cars get in the draft, I don't think you'll be able to tell the difference. But I really think with some of the characteristics of this car, the drivability of them, the way they're going to behave in the draft, I think you'll see the speeds coming way back up once the draft starts with these cars. And I really think having the cars in this speed range with this spoiler combination and, the package with the engine and things of that nature, I think ultimately we'll see a more competitive race at Daytona from start to finish.
Okay, so if it isn't speed, and certainly in the draft they'll be able to do that, will you be able to pull out and pass? I mean, because that's what we really need at the end of the day. The old slingshot move, that was a beautiful thing. But do you think with this car, guys will be able to get out of the draft and gain a little bit of track position?
I do think people will be able to pull out and pass in the draft. I think seeing the days of somebody like a Bill Elliott, in 1985, pull away from the draft and win, I think those days are over because all the cars are so close together in the way that they're built and the engine packages and things of that nature. But I do believe this car will enable somebody to pull out and make passes on the racetrack and get back in line, and maybe be able to do that without the help of somebody for long term for 2 or 3 laps. So, I mean, the jury's still going to be out until we get through the races tonight and through the weekend and see what we see. But I'm simply saying, in my experience, going to maybe not Daytona, we'll have to wait and see, but going to some racetrack, going to Texas or Michigan and qualifying at over 200 miles an hour looks good in the newspaper, but it doesn't always make for a great race because it's hard to run 2 and 3 wide, especially if you're in the middle when you don't have enough air on the spoiler or the deck lid of your car to keep it in the track and feel secure to the driver. I do believe that this configuration race car, by and large, is going to make for better racing and safer racing, and that's really what we're after.
Hermie Sadler, 266 Xfinity races, 66 Cup races in his career. As fans, we love the pack racing of plate racing. And I'm still going to call it plate racing, even though it's not plates anymore the way it was in the past. But that pack racing is just, we sit there, we're not that far from Talladega where we are here, and we just sit there, and you can't move. You can't get up. It's mesmerizing to see that pack go lap after lap after lap. Some of the drivers absolutely hate it. Others don't talk about it. I don't know if anybody likes it. You've driven in it. In your mindset, is it something that was just absolutely harrowing? Did you hate it, driving in a plate race, or was it, okay, I'm good with this, beating and banging door handle to door handle at 180, 190, and 200?
I will say the majority of drivers that I know, and I can speak for me personally, it's not as much fun for the drivers as it is for the fans in the stands and people watching on TV. The reason why, and I honestly believe some of the people that we've seen retire or get out of the sport maybe earlier than we would have anticipated is in large part because of this type of racing. And by the way, we're going to see more, maybe not a pack like Daytona and Talladega, but we're going to see more close quarters racing at the 1.5 mile and the 2 mile tracks. And the reason why it's frustrating for drivers is because it is hard to get away, and you're not really in control of your own destiny as much now as you were probably 8 to 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. So even if you got the best car and you're the best driver, you still can't get away. So you're more reliant or more dependent on the other 40 dumbasses on the racetrack with you, not to make mistakes. And so, it is more stressful emotionally, and those kind of things. And I do believe that's some of the reason why we've seen some drivers maybe retire or announce their retirements or maybe cut back on their schedules because of the type of racing we're going to see coming up this year.
And also, is some of the younger retirements, I mean, we see these guys race, into their 50s all the time, but a lot of guys, they didn't even come in until later. I mean, Dale Earnhardt, I think, was like 29 years old or something when he was Rookie of the Year. They come in now, they're 18, 19, 20, 21. They've raced for 20 years by the time they're 36, 37, 38. It almost feels like the new number is going to be that number around 42, 43. Almost similar to football, you know what I mean? A quarterback, that's the max. It seems like that's about when guys will jump out.
Yeah, I think everybody's situation is different. It depends on how long you've raced, the type of racing that you've done, how much drive and passion do you still have to get out and do it and race against the younger generation of drivers that are coming in. It depends on your sponsor situation. Let's be honest, it depends on how much money you got in the bank, how well you took care of yourself and your family. A lot of factors, and I think it's different for different people, but I do think that this type of racing will be more physically stressful than, maybe some of the days gone by just because of the tight racing and the pack racing and all the things, all the stress and drama that comes with that.
And finally, the Busch Light Clash, that was a lot of fun, especially the qualifying races. Now, that was a quarter-mile track. That was too small. I mean, I hope they don't run around now and start paving stadiums all over the country to do this. And, the quarter-mile is a little bit too much. But we love Martinsville and Richmond and Bristol and the short tracks. I mean, we need more of that. I don't know what they're going to do. Maybe this car is going to help with the 1.5 miles. I either want the big track or the super speedway or the short track. I thought the best thing that came out of that, and I've been railing on this, everybody's trying to fix NASCAR, everybody's got an opinion, but I've been railing on this concept for years now. I think that the heat racing portion of that was so fantastic, and on the short tracks, I think it would be great if they did that. You know what I mean? Give us a 150-mile or 150-lap main, but give us, 4 heat races, 3 heat races, take the top 4 right to the main, take the other guys, throw them all in 2 qualifying races, take those guys to the main, give us 22 cars or 20 cars in the main, and let's go. I think that's a better show than just lining up 36 cars for 400 laps, and they cut laps, it seems like, for, until they get to the last 100 laps or whatever it may be. What are your thoughts about that style of racing, that Saturday night style of racing with heats and qualifiers?
Yeah, I don't disagree with any of that. I don't like to make big time NASCAR racing gimmicky per se. I'm a traditionalist. When it comes to the Clash, I was expecting a really bad race and a really bad show, and I was pleasantly surprised. So it can be done. I think it will be done more in the future. I think some of the dirt racing and things that NASCAR has slowly gotten more into, and some of the dirt racing and the Saturday night racing that some of the drivers are doing. And let's be honest, we see those races, whether they be on TV or social media, and the grandstands are packed and people love it.
Yeah.
It kind of keeps the show exciting, and new cars on the track and shorter races and more excitement. And I think NASCAR has and will continue to slowly but surely implement some of those things that, sometimes you don't have to be real smart and reinvent the wheel. Sometimes you look at what your competition is doing, and if it's successful, hell, you just copy it. And I think that's what NASCAR has finally realized, that maybe doing a little bit of that is not a bad thing.
Outstanding work. Hermie Sadler has been our guest. Leaning Right and Turning Left is the name of the podcast. Check that out as well and get a nice mix of politics and sports and NASCAR in there as well. Hermie, tremendous stuff. I appreciate you so much helping us set up the Daytona 500.
Glad to do it. Call me back anytime. You guys have a great day.
All right, man. Thank you. Hermie Sadler. There was a funny line about the Sadler brothers back in the day. If you ever heard Elliott Sadler and Hermie Sadler talk, Grizz, Hermie was a commentator at the time, and you hear that rural Virginia in Hermie's voice.
Yeah.
Elliott is even worse. I mean, Elliott's is really thick. I mean, he's got a really thick, and they asked Hermie one time, they say, how come Elliott Sadler has so much more of an accent than you have?
Yeah.
And Hermie said, Elliott's room was in the south side of the house. His room was in the southern part of the house.
He's like, my grandfather, man, he's from L.A., Lower Alabama, so he's got that real southern slow, you know what I mean? And
slow.
And me, it's like, I say I'm from Huntsville, man. People think I'm not from around here. I mean, even
Huntsville, there is such a difference.
Yeah.
Between Huntsville, I noticed it. Like
I'm born and raised here, but that's But
I got here in 2004, and I had the Swede was one of my first producers, and he sounded just as normal as you could. And of course, our studios then were in Limestone County. And you would go out the door, and something happened. When you would go from Madison County to Limestone County, when you went over that border into Limestone County, all of a sudden it was a total different accent, a total different. I used to joke with Bama Zach and tell him it'd take him an hour and a half to watch 60 Minutes. Just slow, everything just kind of laid back and all that kind of stuff. But yet in Huntsville, you don't hear nearly the accent, and a lot of it has to do with education, to be totally honest with you. I'm not cutting on anybody. I'm just saying, a lot of these people in Huntsville are folks that either work on the base or they got the family that work at, that are engineers and things like that. In the case of the Swede, his father was a professor at UAH. Okay, so, he didn't talk with a slow southern drawl, if you will. But yeah, man, there's places downstate that you notice that a lot, but I always thought that was cute with Hermie and Elliott Sadler. His bedroom was in the south end of the house, so that's why he had the thicker accent. All right, we're going to break. When we come back, you know what? We're staying in Virginia. Steve Merrill is going to join us next from ProSportsInfo.com right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
College basketball tonight, South Alabama at Coastal Carolina. The Jaguars a 1-point favorite on the road, 136 the total. Elsewhere, Troy getting 4 points at Appalachian State, the over-under 130. Josh Taylor, the number 7 pound-for-pound boxer in the world and undisputed junior welterweight champion, will take on Jack Catterall in Taylor's first fight since he became the undisputed champ last May. The two will meet February 26 in Scotland. Taylor a heavy favorite, minus 1575. The challenger Catterall plus 790. Today, the Genesis Invitational underway, featuring each of the top 11 players in the world. John Rahm, the plus 1,000 favorite. Dustin Johnson and Patrick Cantlay plus 1,400.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Here in the South, we like our traditions, like Alabama football and tailgating on fall Saturdays. And the best way to start your tailgate? Visit Brooks & Collier to see North Alabama's largest selection of premium grills and smokers. Big Green Egg, Blaze, and Traeger. Everything you need for that perfect tailgate. Check out our rubs and seasonings. We have a full wall to please any taste palate. Visit Brooks & Collier at 813 Meridian Street or at brooksandcollier.com. An Alabama tradition for 75 years. Roll Tide.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental. Coming in April, Valley will have a second location opening up on the North Parkway between Winchester Road and Bob Wade. They'll be offering bigger contractor-only type equipment, including 10K reach forklifts, 300 series track hose, and larger rollers and dozers, along with other equipment. Valley Equipment's 2 locations will better serve the region and allow them to grow their fleet. Valley Equipment Rental, locally owned for 10 years, where they put more care in every rental.
I love overpriced stuff. That's why I get my internet from the other guys. What could be better?
Wow is better. Get Internet 100 for just $19.99 a month. Sign up at Huawei.com.
Wow.
Limited to new customers with auto-pay and paperless billing. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Offer subject to change. Restrictions and terms apply.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Thom Abraham here from my friend Brian Hamaker and his team at North Alabama Mortgage. Look, buying a home is the biggest purchase you will make in your life, and it can be a bit intimidating, so you want people that can help walk you through the mortgage process and get you the best deal possible. That's what North Alabama Mortgage does, and they do it in Alabama, Tennessee, and Florida, from first-time purchases to refis, conventional, VA, FHA, and USDA loans. They have the solution at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com to learn more. That's NorthAlabamaMortgage.com.
Get your Ford your way today. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got F-150s in stock right now. We have F-150s on the ground so you can climb behind the wheel and take a test drive today. Plus at Woody Anderson Ford, our 2021 F-150s come with $1,000 in bonus cash, along with financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months with your good credit. This offer ends February 28th. To be clear, these F-150s are in stock today, ready for your garage tonight. Now let's talk about making a custom factory order. Not only is there no extra cost to custom order, but you'll get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on 2022 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, Expedition, and Mustang. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and you'll see how easy it is. And speaking of easy, our service department is now offering free pickup and delivery when it's time for your next Ford service. Ask about it at Woody Anderson Ford, the corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Look forward to seeing you.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Showers and thunderstorms this afternoon across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Some of those thunderstorms could be strong or even severe. Looks like our biggest concern is going to be heavy rain and some very gusty winds. Wind gusts in excess of 45 or 55 miles per hour. But an isolated tornado certainly can't be ruled out, especially west of the I-65 corridor. All of this is associated with a cold front. Cold front moves through the Tennessee Valley Thursday night, early into Friday morning. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now more of the Thom Abraham Show on your home for Crimson Tide Sports, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
The show is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford. Yeah, I know there was only one Ford Mustang in the top 5 in those qualifying speeds, but that's all right. They'll be there on race day. You can guarantee that. Woody Anderson Ford. All your service needs can be handled by Woody Anderson Ford. Even your collision needs are handled at Woody Anderson Ford. They take great care of you there. And I know I've bought every vehicle in the last 15 years that I own from Woody Anderson Ford, and including 2 this past summer, a F-150 and a Mustang from Woody Anderson Ford. And they just do a tremendous job down there. Take a look at their gold certified pre-owned vehicles. Are like new. Absolutely tremendous. They got to have low mileage on them and one owner. They've got what makes a gold certified vehicle. There's certain criteria that it has to meet, and their service department is second to none. Their garage looks like a NASCAR garage. All right, joining us now from Pro Sports. We're staying in Virginia. We go from Hermie Sadler to Steve Merrill, who I believe is in Virginia as well, and with ProSportsInfo.com, and he's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Am I lying, Steve?
No, I mean, the Sadlers are in Emporia, Virginia. They're a few hours away from me. I'm on the East Coast, around the Richmond area, another NASCAR hub as well. The home track, I get, although actually it was probably their home track, Martinsville and maybe even Bristol. But Elliott Sadler had a one-year career at James Madison University, his brother, and Elliott actually was a very good athlete, was a good basketball player from what I heard.
I told the story about the funny line when Hermie Sadler was asked why Elliott Sadler had such a more distinctive accent than even Hermie has, and Hermie has it. You know what I mean? That's rural Virginia, where those guys are from. And they asked him, how come Elliott's is so much more pronounced, his accent? And he said, well, his bedroom was in the south end of the house. So I thought that was funny, But,
well, they're nothing like the Burtons. Ward Burton is also from that area. Ward Burton's from South Boston, Halifax County, right next to Emporia, and Ward Burton takes the crown for the accent for all those guys.
It's interesting, Hermie was telling me that he's in the middle of a big battle with the state of Virginia right now over this whole gaming thing because, they have the Sadler truck stops and all that, and they have games of skill there that people have always been able to be to play and so on. And now that they're doing the casinos, I didn't fully understand it, but I guess with the legalized sports betting and the casinos and whatnot, they're now squeezing it out. It has to be at a casino. You can't. They're like taking that business away from them, which is really not right. I don't think. It doesn't make any sense why it would have to be in a casino.
Yeah, well, I know exactly what he's talking about. What they're called gray machines, and they popped up a couple about 4 years ago in all the convenience stores and whatnot in Virginia, because Virginia's never had any kind of gambling. They never even had slot machines, and in a loophole, the Tobacco, Firearms, or ATF, the Alcohol Bureau said that they were games of skill. So they were able to slip them in, and this company out of Georgia actually was doing it, and there were thousands of them. And I saw these things, Tom, and once again, just like the historical horse race machines are at the racetrack here, they were 100% slot machines. I couldn't tell the difference. And the regulators weren't getting any money on them, so of course they wanted to get involved. And 2 years ago, at the same time the sports betting bill was going through 2 years ago, sports betting went through. Last year, they put this measure to stop these gray machines. They were called gray machines because they were kind of operating in the gray area of the law between slots and skill machines. So that's exactly what he's talking about. But yeah, casinos are on their way. They got approved last year. Over the next 4 years or so, we're going to have 4 or 5 of them. And 5 of the sportsbook licenses here in the state are tied to those casinos. And one of them is actually going to be in Bristol, Virginia, which, of course, is where a NASCAR track is.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how it plays out there as it continues to come across the country for sure. And speaking of sports betting, I mean, the Super Bowl, so much of this was so close on the numbers. I mean, they were spot on, and it made it tough. I mean, you had 3.5, 4 ended up being the final number. Of course, the Rams win that thing by 3 and don't cover. I liked the over in that deal. I was really hoping that the Rams that the Bengals would go down and kick that field goal at the end, and that would have sent it into overtime at 46 points, and it would have been an automatic that it would have gone over. Some of this stuff was so close. Cooper Kupp and his 8.5 receptions, we stuck on 8, and in my service, I use MGM, they graded it as a win, and it turned out that they graded that end around. They thought it was a forward handoff versus a backward, which would have been a pass. They graded it as a win for almost 20 hours. And I'm like, this is not right. He had 8. And then finally they fixed it, and took it away from us. But it was like one thing after another, whether you won on them or lost on them, they were very, very tight.
Yeah, I mean, the last cut, actually, the one I didn't use for the prop sheet was Matthew Stafford under 2.5 rushing yards. He takes a kneel to have 3, a kneel down. And, it's just how crazy it is. I think Burrow had 2 rushing attempts, so I liked over 2.5. There's so many different, and by the way, he didn't get to the line of scrimmage on one of them, basically, when he was trying to run, scrambling. So,
yeah, that should be a run, though, shouldn't it?
But the big...
I mean, when they tuck it and go like that, that's the one where Aaron Donald hit him. And to me, he tucked that ball and run. That is a run. The fact that that's a run for a loss of a yard, but that is a run. We got a kneel down from him at the end of the first half as well. But to me, I thought, oh, there you go. We hit that one with the run. And I thought that was sketchy the way they call that. That's not a sack,
Well, the Kupp one is interesting because, like you said, I liked over 8.5 receptions. He landed right on 8. And the NFL game book, you look at the official NFL game book on NFL.com. That's the stats all the sports books use. So I'm surprised the MGM got that one wrong. All you got to do is wait for the official score. I'm wondering if maybe the official score even changed it because I didn't check it right after the game. I checked, several hours later. The big change to me in the game, I thought, was Beckham's injury, obviously. You can't handicap something like that. And I think there's no question that game goes over the total if he stays in the game and plays. I think the Rams most likely cover as well because, as you said, they still won by 3 and missed by a single point. So both the side and total really changed because of that injury. And then, of course, the one other thing we got to bring up, probably the most consequential missed point after attempt in first half history from a betting perspective because the Rams were -3 first half, 13.5 was the total, and it landed on, 23.5 was the total. It landed 13-10 instead of 14-10 because of that botched snap on the extra point attempt. No question that was the most money it's ever switched hands half because of a missed extra point.
Wow, that is incredible stuff there. And I think all of this points up to the long game. I mean, even last night, we had a couple of great picks last night. I mean, Alabama, I thought, was going to pull away early in that second half. And they built up that 7-point lead, and it looked like they were going to be gone. Ended up winning by 5. They were 6.5-point favorites. And then who saw Golden State losing the way they lost late there to Denver when they were leading throughout that thing, and they dropped that one. But that's why I think you gotta kind of focus on the long game.
No question about it. I mean, it's a marathon and not a sprint, and it's an analogy which you hear a lot, but it's so true. And last night's a perfect example. I really felt like those 2 games could have gone either way. Just as easily as going 0-2, it could have been 2-0. Both teams are covering the spread mid-fourth quarter in both games, So that's random results. And I've always said, you try to hit maybe 60% for a great season, right? That means you're going to lose 40% of the time. But if you think about it, a lot of them are coin toss games. If you take those out and you try to hit 70, 75% on the other games, you're going to end up at 60% just because of the random variance. And people just don't look at it the right way. It's still been a great basketball season overall for us in both college and pro, and it'll still be a great season. But, you have to withstand the short-term fluctuations, and that's what gets people, Tom, is, whether it be the financial markets or the sports betting markets, you got to have money management, you got to have emotional control, and money management allows the emotional discipline because if you play the same amount every game, if you have a bankroll where you're playing 3% of your bankroll, you're never going to get in trouble, and you're never going to have those, wild swings where you lose 20 or 30% in one day.
Yeah, and that's the key is sticking with that number and that discipline, and not saying, man, I'm on a roll. oh, look at what I got in the bankroll. Now I can double that with one big hit tonight. Yeah, you can wipe out, and then you're done. Now, something we got to be careful with. I have said all along that I felt like one of the things that could help the interest in NASCAR as much as anything out there would be the opening up of legalized sports betting and betting on the races, because you have multiple ways to bet a NASCAR race. The problem is right now, we know nothing, man. This car, I mean, maybe we learned something tonight with these twin 150s. This car is slow. Hermie says that's 181 miles on 2016. 181 sounds like, Charlotte. That doesn't sound like Daytona. So it's going to be very, very racy probably. But until we see some more of this at speed, we really have no idea other than maybe take all the Hendrick cars.
Yeah, I mean, the last few years have been tough in general just because NASCAR got rid of practice sessions for almost every race. And as a handicapper, what I've used for 20-plus years and have had a lot of success in NASCAR is using those practice sessions, because you take the past track histories. Obviously, some guys are better at certain tracks than others, and as long as, things stay the same, that holds. And like you just said, it doesn't hold right now because we've got a brand-new car. So I think you got to be very careful with any kind of past track histories until we see which guys are comfortable are performing the same in these new machines. But the track practice times were just fantastic. I mean, it was like in-game betting almost. You'd get to see which cars literally were fast that weekend at that track with that race trim package. They took that away from us after the COVID shutdown. Qualifying's always been very overrated, so I didn't mind losing qualifying. But they are bringing practices back this year. This race this weekend, the Daytona 500, though, is about always as difficult as any race to handicap because the restrictor plate tracks, as you know, are just pretty much random. You just can't predict who's going to be taken out. Like the Odell Beckham injury, you can't predict that in the Super Bowl. You can't predict which guy's going to be caught up in the crash because it's going to happen multiple times in this race. But now we have the uncertainty of past track history because of the new, and then practice times have never meant anything on this track. But you're right, tonight and these dual races and whatever you want to call them are going to be the closest thing we get to the real event. I'll be paying close attention to this and seeing if and also kind of reading between the headlines, seeing which guys say they're comfortable on the machine, which aren't. Obviously, Denny Hamlin is favored once again at Daytona just because he has dominated this track more than any other driver. Hendrick, like you said, has been very fast over the recent years. But then again, will that continue? We just don't know until we see these cars on the track.
And then the other thing, we got to remind people, Kyle Larson and Alex Bowman are locked in to the front row. So tonight means nothing to them. So you don't get fooled when you see those cars maybe go to the back, right? Because you don't want to wreck your machine and jerk around. There's no real advantage for them to win their 150 because it doesn't mean anything. They're already locked into the front row.
Right. And what's interesting too is if you look at the future odds right now, the top 7 guys, you've got Hamlin, you got Kyle Busch in the mix because they're teammates, right? And then you've got those Hendrick guys like you mentioned, Elliott, Larson, Byron. And then Joey Logano and Blaney are in there. They're teammates. So you got 3 teams making up like the top 7. And then you see Brad Keselowski, but he's not Logano's teammate anymore and Blaney's, right? He's in the number 6 car now. He's a guy to be careful with for that reason. He has good past history, especially at Talladega, but with a new team and machine. Although you could also make the argument that if there's ever a year in which a new team and machine would have a chance, it's now because everything's been equalized with the new car, right? So 2 ways to look at that. But what's interesting, the next guy after that, before we get to Alex Bowman, another Hendrick guy, is Kurt Busch in the 45 car. He's with Wallace's team now and Denny Hamlin's new team. So, the odds makers are basically basing everything based on past track history. And by the way, Austin Dillon's in that top 10 as well. He's been very good on restrictor plates. But really want to see the duel tonight, see how these cars run, and see if there's any drivers that maybe look a little bit better than expected.
What do you think about the matchup type bets if you're going to bet on NASCAR where you can bet one guy's going to finish ahead of another guy, regardless of where they end up, that this guy's going to be in front of that guy?
Yeah, most professional bettors, whether it be NASCAR or golf is very similar. You got the outright odds to win, like we just talked about, and then you got the head-to-head matchups, which is you just pick the higher finisher. You don't have to worry about the other 38 cars in the race. With that said, the head-to-head matchups are definitely where the bread and butter is for the sharp bettors, the professional bettors. And what I like to do here is that you try to find maybe a play-on driver or a play-against driver can be just as good. That's what I like about head-to-head matchups. When you're looking at the odds to win, you got to have a play-on guy, right? and you got to worry about the other 38, 39 cars against your guy. The good thing about outright winner is when you're getting 10-1 odds, almost everybody in the field this weekend or better, you can take 4 or 5 guys, and you only have to be right once. But with the head-to-heads, you want to look for a play on versus a play against maybe. Odds makers have gotten sharp, though. I'm telling you, NASCAR is not as easy to beat as it was 15, 20 years ago when I started. The outright odds are much sharper. You know, Kyle Larson was going off at 2-1 last year in some races, and he was just dominating. We all knew it. So what you want to do is you want to kind of find an under-the-radar guy early on, and I think this season that'll be the one thing you can maybe do with the new car. A lot of guys on new teams is try to find somebody that's outperforming or underperforming early and ride them in these head-to-head matchups for the first couple weeks.
And the other thing you can do is you can get odds based on guys, what their finishing position is going to be. And, for example, Denny Hamlin plus 120 to finish in the top 5, or Joey Logano plus 130 to finish in the top 5, Chase Elliott plus 145, and Larson plus 145. Those sound like pretty good numbers for top 5. You know what I mean? It seems like those are pretty good returns for just being in the top 5. Until they wreck out on
if there was any other
110.
track.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's a cookie cutter mile-and-a-half intermediate speedway, I would love all those odds. But this, of course, once again, is Daytona. Hamlin has been more consistent up front than anybody. 2 ways to look at it, though. You know, it's like, is he due to start having problems? Has he been lucky? Or is there some skill involved? I do think with Hamlin there's skill involved because he has outperformed more than, like, the statistical random fluctuation would be as far as wrecking and whatnot. Guys like Truex Jr., by the way, one of the best drivers all around, has been really bad on these type of tracks. You realize we haven't mentioned him yet in the top 10 odds at all. So there are some guys that find a way to stay out of trouble. One of the ways to do it normally is run in front or the very back, right? And now they're having guys in recent years that have been taken out of the top 2 positions. That's kind of random. It has happened. Seems like it's happened more recently than not. But Hamlin runs up front normally, and so does Logano and these other guys. So that's why their odds to be top 5 kind of makes sense. What I'll point out, though, is the opposite, though. The guys that run in the very back, you're going to see some top 10 finishers from guys that have no chance of winning this year. And especially daily fantasy. We don't talk a lot about that, but if you're playing in the daily fantasy with NASCAR, you definitely want to use guys that are starting farther back and have low price points, because some of them will end up there, especially if the big one happens. It usually happens in the middle of the pack. So while I agree with some of those guys for the top 5, I mean, you can take some long shots here. Michael McDowell, 7-1 to be top 5. He won the race last year, right? Mm-hmm. He's been very good on restrictor plate tracks. He's still in the 34 car. That's the type of guy I like to look at. A 7-1 return of McDowell, top 5, or even him top 10. You're getting good plus money still with Michael McDowell. You know, that's somewhere you might want to take a look, because he's a guy that's proven he can be there. He's only 2-1 for top 10 versus 7-1 for top 5. But you're going to see some names like that make the top 10. Chris Buescher, even money top 10. He's another guy that does very well here on these restrictor plate tracks.
All right, finally, if we were just to pick a guy, a long shot, just somebody wants to put a $50 bill on the race to make, you know, a couple of grand or $900 or whatever it is. As we go down the list a little bit, if you were going to pick out a long shot, because this happens in these plate races, this is what happens. We see that kind of stuff. You mentioned last year's winner. Harvick, you can get plus 1,800, along with Busch and Dillon, Austin Dillon, you can get plus 1,800. Martin Truex, plus 2,000. Bubba Wallace was second there a couple of years ago, plus 2,000.
Right.
You know, if there was Eric Almirola, who was fourth fastest Ford, plus 2,200. If there was a name, Ricky Stenhouse, who's always good on these kind of tracks, is plus 2,500. If there was somebody you just wanted to take a shot with, give me a name that you like.
You mentioned a couple of them. I mean, first of all, Bubba Wallace, 20-1, Almirola, 22-1. Truex Jr. is right between them. I mentioned how Truex is not very good. That tells you something right there. Let's go a little deeper on the list, though. Stenhouse, 25-1. That jumped out to me also. He's been very good, especially at Talladega. Ross Chastain, 40-1. Corey LaJoie, 55-1. These are guys that can win on this track. And I just mentioned Michael McDowell, 66-1, and he won the race last year. And his numbers on road courses and plate tracks versus the others are night and day. So I don't agree with him being 66-1. Does he win it a second time? Probably not. But does he have a 1 in 66 chance of winning it again? Definitely. He did it last year. So, I mean, there is value once again with McDowell at 66-1. I'm a little surprised that he's that high still.
Always a pleasure. How can I get a hold of you to get in on the action? Because you've been hot with the NBA and college basketball. How do they get on board?
Yeah, NASCAR is fun to talk about, but obviously the bread and butter sport, as you know, right now is basketball, college and pro, daily sport. We got 2 months left in college. We got almost 4 months left in the NBA. It's a great time to get on board now that football is done. Make money on a daily basis with basketball. Steve Merrill, ProSportsInfo.com. And if you'd like to try a free best bet, email me, mention that you heard the show, Steve@ProSportsInfo.com for a free play, Steve@ProSportsInfo.com.
All right, Steve, I appreciate it, man.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, let's grab a break. We'll come back with a final segment next. Maybe we can get Dan in as well right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I miss my baby, someone stole my baby. By the way, my baby is my landscaping truck that was literally stolen from a job site. Baby, won't you please come home?
Owning a small business isn't always as lovely as it sounds, but with 30-plus customizable coverage options, Progressive Commercial keeps your business humming along. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
I love my sweetheart. By the way, that's my riding lawnmower.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage and discounts not available for all vehicles or states. Policy terms and conditions apply.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhsriserealestate.com.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
TOC Sports has been there for you. Now, you're probably asking yourself, what does that mean? It means for more than 20 years, Alabama's largest orthopedic group has been there providing coverage and care to more schools and student athletes in the Tennessee Valley than any other group. It means whether you are the star football player, the all-region volleyball ace, or someone who hurt their knee in a weekend pickup basketball game, TOC Sports physicians are proud to have the opportunity to care for all your orthopedic needs. It means for parents, coaches, athletes, desk jockeys, or even weekend warriors, TOC Sports physicians continue to meet and exceed the orthopedic and sports medicine needs of our community. But most importantly, during these challenging times, we're here for you now, and will continue to be here. So as long as there are players on the field, games to be played, and contests to be won, the orthopedic specialists from TOC Sports will be ready to help. We don't know what the future holds, but you can count on the TOC Sports team to stay committed to you, so you can stay in the game. Call 256-539-2728 today and ask to see a TOC Sports physician. Check them out online, also Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
So I'm gonna watch it on TV.
The game's on. Oh, I almost forgot. I'll be right there.
We like sports and we don't care who knows. From shooting hoops to the Super Bowl. We like sports and we don't care who knows.
Football, tennis, hockey, golf.
The game is starting. Everyone is here. I got my snacks, my friends, and a beer.
So I'm gonna watch it on TV.
Are you ready for the football?
watching on TV. So I'm going to watch it on TV.
What to watch on TV tonight is brought to you by Audio Insight. The folks at Audio Insight can get you exactly what it is that you need. They know it's not one size fits all when it comes to your home theater system or even just your home viewing system or your sound system that you want in your house. Dave Bond and his crew have been doing this for over 20 years in the Tennessee Valley. They're going to make sure that you get exactly what you need. They're going to work close with you. They'll work with your builder. They'll work with your designer. They'll make sure that the system meets your performance, budget, and aesthetic needs. These home theater systems are no longer just for the rich and famous. You can have one of these things in your house for a reasonable amount of money, and they can take care of it for you for sure. Visit the showroom at 1229 Putman Drive, just off of Jordan Lane, or go to audioinsight.com to learn more. And Grizz, I can tell you what's on in the studio, in the Big Dog Production Studios all day long today and tomorrow.
Everybody making fun of 50 because they said he looked like he put on some weight in the Super Bowl. If I had the money 50 had, I put some weight on too.
Gerald Swindle talking about 50 Cent.
I believe Gerald's talking about 50 Cent, Tommy, hanging upside down here in the Super Bowl show.
Yeah, I know he loves that one. He loved that show.
Yeah. It's the Site One Bassmaster Elite at the Harris Chain, and Swindle has a camera in his boat. Today he's one of the featured fishermen on that, so I'll be...
Well, I say 50, you gonna eat up. Do what you gotta do, baby. You done did yours.
That's our boy from Gunnersville, Gerald Swindle. There. Also tonight, you've got the dual 150s at Daytona. First one's at 6, second one at 8 on FS1. You can check that out as well. That's going to do it for us today. Coming up next, it's the Chuck Oliver Show. Then the Paul Feinbaum Show. And then Wes and Steve are at Baumhauer's tonight. It's all right here on your home for basically everything. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.